Hi everyone. My name is Ava, and today I want to share something very special with you. I want to talk about my favorite season and explain why I love it so much. Seasons are interesting because each one has something unique. People usually choose their favorite season based on the weather, the activities they enjoy, or the memories they have. For me, my favorite season is autumn. Autumn is very special to me, and every year I feel happy when it begins. I remember when I was a child. The first day of autumn always felt like a new start. The air becomes cooler, and it feels fresh and crisp. The sky looks brighter, and the world around me begins to change colors. I live in a place with many trees. During autumn, the leaves change from green to yellow, orange, and red. When I walk down the streets and hear the leaves crunching under my feet, I feel calm and peaceful. It is as if nature is reminding us to slow down and enjoy small moments in life. One thing I really enjoy about autumn is the smell. It may sound unusual, but I love the smell of wet leaves after the first autumn rain. It smells earthy, fresh, and comforting. I also love the aroma of pumpkin spice in cafes or the smell of freshly baked bread. These scents make me feel warm and cozy, even if the air outside is cool. Autumn is full of wonderful smells that make the season feel alive. Autumn also brings many of my favorite activities. I like taking long walks in parks or forests. I enjoy observing the colors of the leaves and taking pictures. Sometimes I ride my bicycle and feel the cool breeze on my face while the leaves fly past. Autumn is also a perfect time to read a book or write indoors with a warm cup of tea or coffee. The season has a calm and reflective feeling that makes it easy to enjoy these simple activities. Another reason I love autumn is that it reminds me of family traditions. Every year, my family visits a nearby farm to pick apples. It is a simple activity, but it creates many happy memories. We laugh, talk, and sometimes argue about who picks the best apples. After picking apples, we bake pies or make homemade cider. Doing this every year makes the season feel special and meaningful. I also love autumn because of the weather. It is not too hot like summer and not too cold like winter. It is the perfect weather for outdoor activities. I can wear comfortable clothes like sweaters or jackets without feeling too warm or too cold. I can sit outside in a cafe and enjoy a book without worrying about sweating or shivering. Autumn has a perfect balance of warmth and coolness that I really enjoy. Autumn is also a season that encourages reflection. Seeing the year slowly ending and noticing changes in nature makes me think about what I have done and what I want to do next. It is a time to reflect on life, to plan, and to feel inspired. I find autumn to be very motivating because it naturally encourages us to think about our goals and dreams. I have a special memory from one autumn day. A few years ago, I went hiking with some friends. It was early October, and the forest was glowing with red, orange, and yellow leaves. The path was covered in fallen leaves, and we walked quietly, feeling peaceful. We stopped by a small river, and the water reflected the colorful trees like a painting. We did not talk much. We just enjoyed the moment. That day reminded me how much I love simple, peaceful experiences, and autumn gives me many of these moments. Autumn also makes me feel creative. I like to take photographs, write stories, or paint when I see the beautiful colors outside. The season gives me new ideas and energy. I also enjoy autumn foods. Pumpkins, apples, cinnamon, soups, and baked treats are all part of the season. Cooking and eating these foods makes the season even more enjoyable. Sometimes I invite friends over for a meal, and it feels extra special when the outside is autumnal and cozy. I especially enjoy autumn evenings. Watching the sunset is magical. The sky turns pink, purple, and gold. I sometimes sit by the window with a warm cup of tea, listening to soft music, and just watch the day slowly become night. Autumn evenings make me feel grateful for small joys. Autumn encourages a slower pace. Summer can feel rushed and busy, but autumn feels calm. I can take my time with tasks, enjoy walks, or sit and think. It is like the world itself is taking a deep breath and inviting us to do the same. Many people feel nostalgic during autumn because of the beauty, memories, and quiet moments the season brings. Small things like rain on the roof or the smell of a wood fire can create strong, happy feelings. I also love how autumn affects daily life in subtle ways. Mornings feel different. The air is crisp, fresh, and awakening. When I open my window early in the morning, I smell damp earth and fallen leaves. It makes me feel ready for the day. Unlike hot summer mornings or freezing winter mornings, autumn mornings are gentle and balanced. I enjoy taking walks or having quiet moments with coffee. Autumn also helps me feel organized and focused. With winter approaching, I like to review my plans, set small goals, and think about the months ahead. The season naturally helps me focus on personal and professional projects. Finally, the visual beauty of autumn is unforgettable. Trees shedding leaves, golden sunlight, and long shadows make everything feel poetic. I love taking my camera on walks, but even when I don't take photos, I enjoy observing the details. Autumn turns ordinary things into extraordinary moments. The colors, light, and textures make everything around me more beautiful and inspiring. In conclusion, autumn is my favorite season for many reasons. The colors, smells, weather, activities, family traditions, peaceful moments, creativity, food, and reflections make it very special. It is a season that touches all my senses and makes life feel richer. Autumn will always have a special place in my heart, and every year I look forward to it with happiness. Autumn reminds me of the importance of mindfulness. I have a habit of taking short walks in the late afternoon. During these walks, I observe the world around me. I listen to the rustling of leaves, feel the cool wind against my skin, and watch birds as they prepare for migration. Even small things, like squirrels gathering nuts, catch my attention. Paying attention to these details helps me stay present. Autumn teaches us to notice the little things and feel grateful for them. This season encourages not only reflection on the world outside, but also awareness of our own thoughts and feelings. I also enjoy the clothing of autumn. Unlike summer, when we wear light clothes, or winter, when we need heavy coats, autumn is perfect for layering. I can wear a cozy sweater over a shirt, add a scarf if it is chilly, and still feel comfortable all day. Choosing outfits becomes creative and fun. Even my shoes feel different in autumn. Boots that are too warm for summer or too light for winter become perfect companions for autumn walks. Dressing in layers adds a small joy to daily life and makes the season feel special. Social gatherings in autumn feel warm and inviting. I remember one October evening when I hosted a small gathering with friends. We cooked seasonal dishes together, played board games, and shared stories by candlelight. The cozy indoor atmosphere, combined with the beauty of autumn outside, created a sense of closeness. Autumn provides the perfect backdrop for these bonding moments, which is why many people feel nostalgic during this season. Autumn evenings have a special rhythm. The sun sets earlier than in summer, creating a golden glow that feels magical. Sometimes I take walks just to watch the sky change from bright day to calm night. The air cools, streetlights flicker on, and the first stars appear. On some evenings, I sit near a fireplace or heater with a cup of tea or hot chocolate, listening to soft music. These quiet, reflective moments make me feel grounded and calm. Food is another reason I love autumn. Seasonal foods like pumpkins, apples, and squash bring warmth and comfort. I enjoy cooking and trying new recipes, such as pumpkin soup, apple tarts, or roasted vegetables with herbs. Eating these foods, either alone or with friends, enhances the seasonal experience. Food adds flavor, aroma, and a sense of coziness to autumn life. Autumn also inspires music and art. There are songs and melodies that perfectly match the mood of autumn, melancholic yet uplifting, calm yet vibrant. I enjoy listening to acoustic tracks, jazz, or classical music during this season. Painting, sketching, or taking photographs outdoors feels more inspiring when the light and colors change daily. The season encourages creativity and motivates me to express myself in different ways. Physical activity feels wonderful in autumn. It is neither too hot nor too cold, so outdoor exercise is enjoyable. I like jogging in parks, practicing yoga on my balcony, or cycling through tree-lined streets. The cool air is refreshing, and the crunch of leaves under my feet adds a satisfying rhythm. Autumn encourages movement in a way that is easier than summer heat or winter cold, making me feel healthier, more energetic, and happier. Autumn brings noticeable changes in wildlife as well. Birds migrate, squirrels prepare for winter, and insects become less active. Observing these changes reminds me of the natural cycles of life. It gives me a sense of connection to nature and helps me appreciate the rhythm of the world. These details encourage me to live more harmoniously and mindfully. I also love reading in autumn. With shorter days and cooler nights, it feels perfect to curl up with a book I have been meaning to read. Reading in the warm glow of a lamp while the evening chill comes in from outside makes me feel cozy and calm. Autumn encourages slowing down, enjoying quiet moments, and appreciating stories and literature. Autumn is also a time for small celebrations and festivals. From local fairs to Halloween and harvest gatherings, the season brings communities together. Even if I do not attend big events, observing the decorations and seasonal traditions creates a sense of joy and cultural richness. The combination of colorful trees, delicious seasonal foods, and shared experiences makes autumn lively, memorable, and comforting. Traveling in autumn is very enjoyable too. Visiting countryside villages, national parks, or nearby towns becomes more beautiful because of the scenery. Roads lined with colorful trees, misty mornings, and peaceful trails make trips feel like storybook adventures. I remember hiking in a forest reserve surrounded by golden leaves, listening to birds, and feeling completely relaxed and inspired. Autumn travel gives me a unique sense of connection to nature and joy in exploration. Autumn also prepares me for the end of the year. As the days get shorter, I reflect on my personal achievements, challenges, and plans for the coming months. The season naturally encourages self-awareness and thoughtful planning. Unlike a rush toward the end of the year, autumn offers a gentle pause. It is a time to review, reflect, and move forward with clarity. Even in the city, autumn is beautiful. Fallen leaves on sidewalks, parks full of red and orange trees, and morning sunlight filtering through branches create a poetic scene. Cafes and shops decorate with autumn themes, giving the city a warm and inviting feel. Walking through streets in autumn feels almost cinematic, like the city itself celebrates the season. Finally, autumn inspires quiet hobbies. Journaling, sketching, or listening to podcasts become more enjoyable. I like to reflect on my day, note small achievements, or plan creative projects. These activities help me feel calm, organized, and connected to both myself and the world around me. In conclusion, autumn is my favorite season for many reasons. It inspires mindfulness, creativity, and reflection. The weather is comfortable, the colors are beautiful, the foods are delicious, and the atmosphere is cozy. Autumn engages all my senses and encourages me to slow down, enjoy life, and appreciate the little things. Every year, I look forward to autumn with excitement because it brings peace, joy, and inspiration in ways that no other season can. One of the things I enjoy most about autumn is how it encourages mindfulness. I have developed a habit of taking short walks in the late afternoon. During these walks, I pay close attention to the world around me. I listen to the rustling of leaves, feel the cool wind on my skin, and watch birds as they prepare for migration. Even small things, like squirrels collecting nuts or drops of dew on spiderwebs, catch my attention. Observing these details helps me stay present and feel grateful. Autumn has a way of reminding us to notice the little things and enjoy life slowly. Autumn also influences the way I feel in small everyday tasks. Simple activities like arranging flowers, brewing tea, or organizing my desk feel more meaningful and rewarding. The calmness of the season transforms ordinary routines into special experiences. Even walking my dog or running errands feels nicer because the streets are visually beautiful, the weather is mild, and there is a sense of calm in the air. I have noticed that people also seem more relaxed during this time, and social interactions often feel warmer and friendlier. A small greeting from a neighbor or a casual conversation with a friend feels extra pleasant in autumn. The colors of autumn have a big impact on my mood. Warm hues like amber, gold, and deep red make me feel comfortable and secure. Decorating my home with autumn elements, such as candles, leaves, or small pumpkins, creates a cozy and inviting space. These visual cues help me feel more relaxed, creative, and sociable. The environment we live in directly affects our emotions, and autumn seems to create a naturally harmonious and uplifting atmosphere. Autumn also provides wonderful opportunities for personal growth and reflection. The season encourages introspection and thoughtful planning. I often think about the year so far, the goals I have achieved, and the lessons I have learned. Even small changes in lifestyle feel natural during this time. I wake up a little earlier to enjoy the sunrise, spend more time outdoors, or try new hobbies and recipes. Autumn provides a balance between relaxation and productivity, making it easier to focus on self-improvement and enjoy small positive changes in daily life. I also find inspiration in nature's changes. Birds gather in flocks, squirrels prepare for winter, and the landscape transforms as the season progresses. Observing these changes reminds me of resilience and adaptability. I often reflect on how I can approach challenges in my own life. Autumn teaches lessons quietly, without words, simply through observation. The season is perfect for outdoor adventures. The weather is cool but comfortable, ideal for long walks, hiking trips, or cycling. I remember one weekend when I explored a small trail near the river. The path was covered with a thick layer of fallen leaves, each step creating a satisfying crunch. The air was fresh, carrying a subtle scent of pine and damp earth. Sunlight filtered through the branches, creating golden patterns on the ground. Walking there felt like the forest itself was performing a slow, peaceful dance, and I felt very grateful for the calm and beauty around me. Autumn also encourages curiosity and awareness. I notice small details I might overlook in other seasons, like the tiny veins on a leaf or dew clinging to a spiderweb in the morning. These observations make walks feel like treasure hunts, where even ordinary objects seem beautiful and important. This heightened awareness naturally promotes mindfulness and reflection. Autumn evenings have a special rhythm. Shorter days and longer nights create a perfect environment for relaxation and introspection. I often sit in my study, looking out at the trees while listening to soft instrumental music. These quiet moments allow me to process my thoughts clearly and feel motivated to take meaningful action in the months ahead. Autumn feels almost therapeutic because it encourages deep reflection and personal growth. There are also memorable experiences that make autumn unique. One of my favorite memories was volunteering at a local community garden in late September. The garden was full of seasonal produce, and I spent hours planting bulbs for next year, harvesting vegetables, and sharing tips with other volunteers. The combination of physical activity, social interaction, and being surrounded by nature made the day very fulfilling. Autumn seems to amplify the joy and satisfaction gained from meaningful tasks, both personal and communal. Another wonderful aspect of autumn is nostalgia. Walking through familiar streets, seeing trees shed leaves year after year, or hearing a song associated with the season often brings back happy memories. These moments can feel bittersweet, but also comforting because they create a sense of continuity and connection to life. Nostalgia in autumn is warm rather than sad, enriching the present moment. Even small details, like the aroma of autumn foods or the first signs of wildlife preparing for winter, add to the joy of the season. The combination of nature, colors, scents, and calm weather makes autumn not only beautiful but also meaningful. It encourages us to slow down, enjoy the present, and reflect on life. In conclusion, autumn is my favorite season because it combines beauty, calmness, mindfulness, and inspiration. It encourages reflection, creativity, and personal growth while providing opportunities for simple joys like walks, reading, and spending time with friends or family. Autumn teaches us to appreciate life's small moments and brings a sense of harmony to everyday routines. Every year, I look forward to this season with happiness because it makes life feel richer, calmer, and more meaningful. One of the things I love about autumn is the way it sparks creativity. I tend to write more during this season, whether it is personal reflections, short stories, or small essays. The changing scenery, vibrant colors, and the subtle shift in the atmosphere naturally stimulate ideas. I sometimes sketch what I see during walks or experiment with photography to capture perfect moments when sunlight, shadows, and leaves align just right. Autumn inspires artistic expression like no other season. Autumn food traditions are another reason I cherish this time of year. Seasonal fruits like apples, pears, and pomegranates appear in markets, and I enjoy trying new recipes with these ingredients. One weekend, I baked an apple and cinnamon cake, and the smell alone made the house feel warm and inviting. I also cook hearty soups and stews with root vegetables. These meals are not only delicious, but also make me feel nourished and satisfied. Sharing autumn food with friends or enjoying it alone in a quiet evening feels especially comforting. Autumn also fosters a sense of community. Local events, small fairs, and seasonal markets bring people together. I remember visiting a harvest festival last year, where people sold homemade jams, baked goods, and crafts. Walking through the stalls, talking with vendors, and tasting fresh produce gave me a strong sense of belonging. Autumn seems to make social interactions feel warmer and more meaningful, perhaps because people are naturally drawn to cozy indoor activities and shared experiences. Daily routines also change in autumn. The cooler temperatures make early morning exercise more enjoyable. Whether jogging, cycling, or doing yoga in the park, I find myself waking up earlier than in summer to enjoy the crisp, invigorating air. Evening routines shift as well. I spend more time indoors reading, cooking, or planning for the week ahead. Autumn subtly reshapes daily habits, encouraging both activity and rest in a balanced way. Traveling during autumn is a special experience. Natural landscapes become more stunning with the colorful foliage. I once visited a small lakeside village where the water reflected the surrounding trees, now shades of amber and crimson, creating a perfect mirror effect. The air was cool and refreshing, and the soft rustle of leaves added a natural soundtrack to the trip. Autumn travel feels slower, more intentional, and more immersive, allowing me to fully enjoy the scenery without the crowds of summer. Autumn also provides an ideal environment for mindful hobbies. Activities like knitting, painting, or organizing my living space feel more enjoyable during this season. The calm, reflective mood enhances concentration and satisfaction. I sometimes spend a quiet afternoon writing letters to friends, with the warm light of a lamp and the faint aroma of autumn candles around me. Simple practices feel more rewarding in autumn, as if the environment itself supports calmness, focus, and contentment. One of my favorite aspects of autumn is the variety of textures and sounds outdoors. Walking through a park, I hear leaves crunching beneath my shoes, birds calling to each other, and the occasional wind rustling branches. The ground may be soft from damp leaves or firm from cooler weather. These sensory experiences create a rich environment that makes even short walks enjoyable. I often spend time just noticing these sounds and textures, which strengthens my connection to the world around me. The gradual transition toward winter is also meaningful. Days become shorter and light changes slowly, creating a sense of rhythm in life. I appreciate this gradual shift because it mirrors the idea of balance. Nothing is abrupt, and each stage of the season has its own character and charm. It reminds me to embrace gradual change in my life, appreciating each step rather than rushing toward an end point. Autumn encourages reflection on personal relationships as well. I often invite friends or family over for small gatherings. Whether sharing a meal, playing games, or simply enjoying tea together, the warmth and intimacy of the season make conversations feel deeper and more meaningful. Even casual chats feel richer, and laughter comes easier when the world outside is cool and colorful. These moments remind me to nurture relationships and appreciate the people around me. Autumn also brings small adventures into daily life. Exploring new cafes, walking through lesser-known streets, or visiting local bookstores feels more special during this season. I remember one afternoon exploring a small neighborhood lined with trees shedding golden and red leaves. I stopped at a tiny cafe for hot chocolate while watching the world go by. It felt like a perfect little escape. Autumn has a way of turning ordinary experiences into memorable moments. Finally, the sensory contrasts of autumn fascinate me. Warm interiors paired with cool exteriors, bright mornings against long afternoon shadows, comforting aromas indoors alongside fresh outdoor scents, all create a multi-layered experience. Walking into a cafe from a chilly morning, the warm scent of baked goods feels magical. Autumn seems to amplify simple pleasures in ways that few other seasons can. In conclusion, autumn is my favorite season because it inspires creativity, reflection, mindfulness, and connection. It turns ordinary activities into meaningful moments and makes life feel richer, warmer, and more intentional. Every year, I look forward to autumn with happiness because it provides a perfect balance of comfort, beauty, and inspiration. Autumn evenings are perfect for storytelling and creativity. I often sit with a notebook or record ideas for stories inspired by the season. The sights, sounds, and smells of autumn become prompts for imagination. I remember writing a short story about a character who finds hidden messages in fallen leaves simply because I noticed the intricate patterns while walking in the park. The season's colors, light, and textures naturally inspire artistic expression and creative thinking. One of the charming aspects of autumn is its unpredictability. One day might be sunny and mild, and the next cool and rainy, sometimes even foggy. This variety keeps life interesting and encourages flexibility. I have learned to adapt my plans and embrace spontaneity. A sudden rain shower might lead me to seek a cozy cafe, while a bright sunny day could inspire a long hike. Autumn teaches appreciation for both calm and change, blending routine and novelty harmoniously. Spending time outdoors in autumn also positively affects mental well-being. The balance of sunlight, cool air, and natural beauty helps me feel revitalized and energetic. Even short walks in parks or tree-lined streets lift my spirits and create a sense of happiness. Autumn naturally encourages a slower, more deliberate pace of life. I often wake slightly earlier to enjoy the soft morning light filtering through trees while sipping coffee or tea. Unlike summer mornings, which are often rushed, or winter mornings, which can feel too cold, autumn mornings are perfect for gentle reflection. Even small daily habits, like watering indoor plants or checking the mail, feel more enjoyable because the environment itself is calm and grounding. Autumn subtly transforms city streets and neighborhoods as well. Trees change colors, leaves fall, and familiar streets take on a new personality. Long walks reveal details I may have overlooked before. A park bench partially covered in leaves, sunlight casting long shadows across cobblestone streets, or a small cafe decorated with seasonal items. These small discoveries make the environment feel alive and inspire appreciation for ordinary beauty. The season also promotes mental clarity and focus. I often feel more productive in autumn because the weather and calm atmosphere create ideal conditions for concentration. A short morning walk, noticing the crisp air and vibrant foliage, leaves me energized and ready to tackle tasks. Creative projects like writing or designing flow more easily, and the reduced mental clutter helps me stay organized and inspired. Autumn is the perfect time to spend time in nature. I enjoy visiting small forests, lakes, and parks during the season. On a weekend hike through a hilly woodland, the ground was covered in a colorful carpet of leaves. Sunlight broke through the canopy, birds chirped softly, and the wind rustled the trees. Pausing to observe the scenery reminded me how connected I am to the natural world and how calming it is to slow down and simply watch. Social connections also feel deeper in autumn. I often invite friends over for simple gatherings, cooking together, playing board games, or sharing stories by candlelight. The cozy ambience encourages heartfelt conversations. I remember one evening when a few friends joined me for dinner. The warmth of the room, combined with the smell of roasted vegetables, made the night feel magical. Autumn seems to naturally encourage intimate moments that strengthen relationships and create lasting memories. Food is another highlight of the season. Seasonal ingredients like pumpkins, squash, apples, and root vegetables inspire hearty, comforting meals. I remember preparing a vegetable stew one afternoon, savoring the aroma as it simmered. Adding fresh herbs or a pinch of cinnamon made the cooking experience mindful and enjoyable. Sharing meals with friends or enjoying them alone adds an extra layer of satisfaction, connecting perfectly with the season's cozy mood. Autumn evenings are particularly inspiring for reflection and goal setting. Shorter days naturally encourage introspection. I often spend time reviewing accomplishments and planning for the months ahead. Lighting candles, playing soft instrumental music, and journaling makes me feel calm and focused. The natural rhythm of autumn, with its gradual shift from day to night, aligns perfectly with reflection, making it easier to pause and think about life meaningfully. Observing wildlife during autumn is also fascinating. Birds migrate, squirrels gather food, and other local animals prepare for winter. Watching these changes reminds me of the cyclical nature of life and the importance of adapting to changing conditions. I once spent an hour observing a small flock of birds near a lake, noticing their movements and interactions. It was peaceful and inspiring, a reminder of balance and harmony in the natural world. Finally, autumn stimulates creativity like no other season. I feel inspired to write, paint, take photographs, or simply notice the beauty around me. Every sensory detail, the cool air, colorful leaves, sounds of nature, and changing light, feeds the imagination. The season blends mindfulness, reflection, connection with nature, and social warmth, creating an environment that nurtures both the mind and spirit. On one special day, I visited a park with my camera, trying to capture the perfect shot of sunlight streaming through colorful leaves. Later, I use these images as inspiration for a short story, weaving a narrative around the mood and colors of the landscape. Autumn seems to offer endless opportunities for creativity because it provides both beauty and quiet, uninterrupted moments for reflection and imagination. Another joy of autumn is how it encourages self-care. I often indulge in relaxing activities that I might overlook during busier months. For example, I take long, warm baths while listening to soft music or enjoy an evening of stretching exercises by candlelight. Even simple activities, like making a cup of herbal tea and reading a book, feel more meaningful in this season. Autumn naturally promotes comfort and well-being, reminding me to prioritize mindfulness and personal care. The pace of life also feels different in autumn. The season encourages a balance between productivity and relaxation. I notice that I can focus on tasks efficiently in the mornings, while afternoons are perfect for leisurely walks, reading, or cooking. This rhythm makes life feel harmonious, reduces stress, and increases overall satisfaction. Autumn creates an environment where balancing work and leisure comes naturally, which is one of the reasons I love it so much. The aesthetic beauty of autumn in urban areas is striking, even in the middle of a city. Ordinary streets become picturesque scenes, with leaves blanketing sidewalks and trees showing stunning color contrasts. Softer sunlight warms the environment, making even short walks feel special. I sometimes explore my neighborhood, noticing small details like light reflecting off windows or cafes decorated for the season. These observations make everyday life more visually engaging and enjoyable. I also cherish autumn travel. Mild weather and beautiful landscapes make trips immersive and memorable. I remember visiting a countryside village where the hills were covered in colorful trees and the air smelled faintly of wood smoke and autumn foliage. Walking along narrow paths, sipping hot drinks from a local cafe, and capturing scenic photos made the trip feel magical. Autumn travel allows me to fully enjoy my surroundings without the heat of summer or the limitations of winter. Autumn affects physical activity too. Cooler temperatures make outdoor exercise refreshing, whether jogging, cycling, or doing yoga in a park. The crisp air invigorates the body and mind, making activity more enjoyable and less tiring than in hotter months. One sunny autumn morning, I went for a long run, noticing leaves moving in the wind and soft sunlight filtering through the trees. The combination of fresh air, colorful scenery, and gentle exercise created a perfect start to the day. The season also encourages personal and cultural exploration. I often take up new hobbies or try skills I've wanted to learn. For example, I started short photography lessons to better capture the colors and textures of autumn. The comfortable weather and inspiring environment make it easier to step out of my comfort zone while feeling relaxed and grounded. Autumn transforms everyday routines into mindful experiences. Simple activities like commuting, running errands, or walking through a park become opportunities to notice details, the patterns of shadows, the sounds of leaves rustling, and architectural features. Even waiting in line or standing at a bus stop feels more pleasant when accompanied by the sensory richness of the season. Autumn has a way of turning ordinary life into a thoughtful and engaging experience. Autumn evenings are perfect for storytelling and reflection. I often write or brainstorm creative ideas while observing the world outside my window. The interplay of warm indoor light with the cool tones of dusk creates an environment that is both inspiring and comforting. Some nights, I simply sit quietly, watching the sky change from day to night and noticing the first stars appear. These moments often spark new ideas, personal insights, and a deeper appreciation for the season. The season also enhances gratitude. Simple pleasures like a warm drink, the smell of autumn leaves, or a quiet walk in a park feel amplified. Autumn encourages mindfulness, helping me slow down, enjoy the present, and find joy in small moments. Autumn changes the rhythm of the day. Mornings feel fresh and invigorating, while evenings carry calm and coziness unique to this season. I wake early to enjoy a quiet moment with a hot drink, watching sunlight slowly filter through trees. Shadows cast by the low morning sun look longer and more dramatic, making familiar streets and parks feel entirely new. Observing these small transformations is energizing and inspiring, reminding me that beauty exists in everyday moments if we take the time to notice it. Autumn also fosters curiosity and exploration. I enjoy wandering through neighborhoods I usually pass by without much thought. One afternoon, I explored a small area lined with trees shedding amber, crimson, and gold leaves. Fallen leaves formed soft carpets on the sidewalks, creating a visual and tactile experience. As I walked, I discovered a tiny bookstore tucked between two cafes and spent nearly an hour browsing shelves filled with old and new books. Moments like this make autumn feel magical and full of discoveries. In short, autumn is a season of creativity, mindfulness, reflection, self-care, and exploration. It transforms ordinary moments into special experiences, balances productivity and relaxation, and inspires both inner peace and imagination. For me, autumn is not just a season, it is a state of mind, a time to slow down, appreciate beauty, and enjoy life's simple pleasures. One of the things I love most about autumn is the balance between outdoor and indoor activities. The weather is cool enough to enjoy long walks, hikes, or cycling without feeling tired or overheated, but it is also perfect for cozy indoor moments. I love sitting by a window with a book, cooking hearty meals, or listening to soft music. I remember one rainy afternoon when I baked a pumpkin loaf while listening to jazz. The warm aroma filled the kitchen, rain pattered gently against the window, and I felt completely present and peaceful. Autumn encourages these small, mindful rituals, which make life feel calmer and more meaningful. Autumn also inspires reflection and personal growth. I often spend evenings reviewing the year, thinking about what I have achieved, and setting intentions for the months ahead. The shorter daylight hours create a natural atmosphere for introspection. I remember one evening, sitting quietly with my journal, writing about work projects, personal habits, relationships, and well-being. The calm and contemplative mood made the process feel natural and even enjoyable. The visual beauty of autumn is something I never get tired of. Sunlight passes through colored leaves, casting warm, golden tones on streets and parks. It feels like walking through a living painting that changes every day. I often take photographs during walks, trying to capture striking moments. One day, I noticed sunlight illuminating a single yellow leaf floating on a puddle and spent several minutes capturing it. These small details make me appreciate the intricate beauty of nature and the subtle ways it changes during the season. Autumn also brings people together. I find myself more inclined to invite friends or family over for small gatherings. There is something comforting about spending time with others during this season. I remember hosting a simple dinner one October evening with roasted vegetables and apple crisps. The warm, cozy atmosphere indoors contrasted with the cool, crisp air outside, making conversations feel deeper and laughter easier. Autumn naturally creates a setting for connection, intimacy, and shared enjoyment. Seasonal foods are another highlight. Fresh apples, pumpkins, squash, and root vegetables make cooking exciting. I enjoy trying new recipes, like hearty soups, baked goods, and spiced drinks. One weekend, I made a pumpkin and apple casserole, combining flavors I rarely use together. Preparing, cooking, and finally tasting the dish felt rewarding. Autumn encourages creativity in the kitchen, making food feel like part of the season's joy. The changes in wildlife during autumn fascinate me as well. Birds start migrating, squirrels gather and store food, and small creatures prepare for winter. I enjoy observing these activities during walks in parks. One sunny afternoon, I watched squirrels carefully hiding acorns, their focus and planning inspiring me to think about my own life and adaptability. Nature quietly teaches lessons about resilience and preparation. Autumn is perfect for creative activities. Writing, painting, and music all feel more inspired. I often journal ideas, draft short stories, or sketch scenes from nature. One day, I saw the afternoon sun shining on a group of trees by a riverbank. I sketched the scene and later turned it into a short story about a character discovering hidden messages in nature. The season provides both material for creativity and a calm, reflective atmosphere that enhances focus and imagination. Exercise in autumn is also enjoyable. Cool air invigorates the body, making jogging, cycling, or brisk walks feel effortless. I often jog through a tree-lined park, listening to leaves crunch beneath my shoes, breathing in the crisp air, and enjoying the vibrant colors around me. Even small activities like stretching or walking the dog feel more satisfying when accompanied by autumn sights, sounds, and smells. Autumn naturally balances outdoor activity and indoor reflection. Shorter days encourage cozy indoor hobbies. On a rainy day, I might spend hours reading or working on personal projects while the gentle sound of rainfall creates a calm, focused environment. This rhythm of activity and reflection makes both experiences more rewarding. Autumn also makes travel more immersive. Visiting mountains, forests, or small towns feels peaceful and visually stunning. I remember a weekend trip to a lake surrounded by hills covered in colorful trees. The water reflected the fiery hues of the forest, and the cool, comfortable air made the experience refreshing. Walking along the shore, I noticed small ripples, the sound of leaves falling, and birds calling in the distance. Autumn travel feels slower, intentional, and deeply connected to nature. Autumn is a season that feels deeply grounding. I love how it allows me to connect with my surroundings in a meaningful way. Autumn evenings are especially perfect for reflection and relaxation. I often light candles, play soft music, and enjoy a warm cup of tea while reviewing my day or planning for the next. The contrast between the cool air outside and the warm, inviting environment indoors creates a cozy and inspiring atmosphere. These simple rituals feel comforting, helping me slow down and fully appreciate the present. During autumn, I notice the beauty in small pleasures. Sunlight filtering through colorful leaves, a gentle breeze on my face, or a fragrant cup of tea all feel amplified. Even everyday routines like grocery shopping or commuting become enjoyable when accompanied by the season's colors, scents, and textures. Autumn naturally encourages mindfulness and gratitude, showing me that even the simplest moments can be special when experienced fully. I also love the sense of anticipation that autumn brings. The season gradually leads toward winter, creating a natural feeling of preparation and reflection. I often use this time to organize my home, set personal goals, or plan creative projects. One evening, I sat by a window, watching street lights glow on wet leaves, jotting down ideas for a story. The environment felt both calming and motivating, perfectly suited for reflection and forward thinking. Autumn has a profound effect on creativity. Ideas flow more easily in writing, art, and problem-solving. One sunny afternoon, I took my sketchbook to a park. The interplay of sunlight, changing leaves, and birds moving about provided endless inspiration. I sketched for hours, capturing scenes and moods that later influenced my writing. The season encourages both observation and imagination, making it feel like a muse rather than just a backdrop. Seasonal events and festivals add to the charm of autumn. Harvest celebrations, local fairs, and cultural gatherings provide ways to connect with the community. I remember attending a small festival where local artisans sold handmade goods and fresh produce. Walking among the stalls, tasting seasonal foods, and talking with vendors created a strong sense of belonging. Autumn seems to have its own rhythm, slower, more deliberate, and naturally encouraging mindfulness. I often spend more time observing, whether it's watching leaves drift from trees or noticing sunlight patterns on the ground. On a crisp morning, I walked along a trail by a river. The water reflected fiery-colored trees, and gusts of wind made leaves swirl, creating a moving mosaic of red, gold, and brown. Each step felt deliberate, as if the world was inviting me to slow down, breathe deeply, and fully take in the moment. This season also encourages personal reflection. As autumn gradually transitions toward winter, it reminds me of the passage of time. I often think about achievements, goals, and life direction. One evening, sipping warm tea by a window, I watched daylight fade and stars appear, reflecting on lessons learned and intentions for the months ahead. Autumn's calm, colorful, and crisp environment makes introspection feel natural and enjoyable. Exploration is another joy of autumn. Even familiar neighborhoods seem transformed under a blanket of fallen leaves. Recently, I wandered through a small residential area where sunlight lit golden leaves scattered across sidewalks. I discovered a hidden alleyway lined with tiny cafes and artisan shops. The air carried the sense of baked bread, roasted coffee beans, and sweet pastries. I spent hours exploring, enjoying the novelty that autumn brings. Food is a central part of autumn's charm. Seasonal ingredients inspire comfort cooking and creativity. I enjoy preparing hearty dishes like roasted squash, apple pie, and vegetable stews. One weekend, I baked a spiced pear tart for the first time. The sweet, slightly spicy aroma filled the kitchen, creating a warm, inviting atmosphere. Cooking in autumn is a sensory experience. Textures, smells, and warmth complement the beauty outside. Sharing these meals with friends or enjoying them alone adds to the season's contentment. Autumn's influence extends to social interactions as well. The cozy, inviting atmosphere encourages gatherings with friends and family. Conversations feel deeper, laughter comes easier, and shared meals or activities feel more meaningful. The combination of cooler weather, beautiful scenery, and warmth indoors naturally strengthens connections. Autumn makes me feel more motivated to spend quality time with friends and family. I enjoy organizing small gatherings or evening walks. One memorable day, I invited a few friends over for a casual dinner. We shared roasted vegetables, apple crisps, and hot drinks while candles flickered softly, casting a warm glow across the room. The cool air outside contrasted beautifully with the warmth and laughter indoors, creating a comforting, memorable experience. Autumn seems to naturally encourage these connections, making ordinary moments feel richer and more meaningful. The season also has a strong effect on mental well-being. Spending time outdoors, breathing crisp air, and observing nature's changes is calming and restorative. One morning, I walked slowly through a park lined with birch and maple trees. Birds chirped softly, leaves crunched underfoot, and the faint scent of damp earth filled the air. By the time I returned home, I felt clear-headed, rejuvenated, and more focused. Autumn's combination of sensory richness and mild weather seems to boost both mood and energy naturally. I am fascinated by the subtle changes in wildlife. Birds begin to migrate, squirrels collect nuts, and other animals adapt to cooler temperatures. I enjoy observing these adjustments quietly. One afternoon, I watched ducks at a nearby pond. They moved gracefully, diving beneath the water now and then. The trees reflected on the rippling surface, their colors enhanced by golden sunlight. Seeing this harmony between wildlife and environment reminds me of nature's delicate balance, which feels both calming and inspiring. Autumn also inspires personal growth and exploration. I often take on small projects or hobbies requiring focus, patience, and creativity. One October, I decided to learn watercolor painting. I set up near a window and let the natural light illuminate my materials. Inspired by the vibrant autumn leaves outside, I spent hours experimenting with color, texture, and layering. The results weren't perfect, but the process itself was deeply satisfying. Autumn provides the perfect combination of inspiration, calm, and focus for creative pursuits. The season changes my perception of time as well. Days feel slightly slower, making each moment more meaningful. I find myself walking more deliberately, pausing to admire sunlight reflecting off wet leaves, or listening to the distant chime of wind. Even routine tasks like grocery shopping or walking to the bus stop feel enjoyable with autumn's sensory richness. There is a subtle rhythm to the season that encourages mindfulness and appreciation, making everyday life feel more intentional and fulfilling. Traveling during autumn is particularly immersive. Landscapes are visually stunning, bathed in golden light, and crowds are smaller than in summer. I recall a weekend trip to a lakeside village where trees in full autumn colors reflected perfectly in the calm water. Walking along the shore, I noticed fallen leaves in the ripples, birds calling in the distance, and the fresh scent of earth and rain. The season encouraged me to slow down, take photos, sketch, and simply absorb the atmosphere. Autumn travel feels less about rushing and more about experiencing, connecting, and reflecting. Autumn also makes exercise and physical activity more enjoyable. The cool, fresh air invigorates jogging, cycling, or hiking. I maintain a routine of jogging through a local park, lined with oak and maple trees. The sound of leaves crunching beneath my feet, combined with the crisp air, creates a sensory-rich, rewarding experience. Even light stretching or yoga outdoors feels enhanced by autumn's energy. The season encourages movement while offering calmness, making physical activity both enjoyable and restorative. Finally, autumn evenings are perfect for quiet reflection and creativity. I often spend time indoors with soft lighting, a warm drink, reading, or writing. The contrast between the cool, darkening outdoors and the cozy, inviting indoors creates a comforting atmosphere. On a clear evening, I sat by a window, watching moonlight cast gentle shadows on colorful leaves while brainstorming ideas for personal projects. Autumn naturally provides a calm, focused environment, making it easier to concentrate, reflect, and nurture creativity. Autumn is a season that naturally encourages gratitude and awareness. Even the smallest experiences feel more vivid and meaningful. I notice the smell of wet leaves, the sound of a gentle breeze, or the warmth of sunlight on my face, and these simple moments feel amplified. I often take time to write about them in a notebook, noting what I appreciate and what inspires me. In autumn, I feel more sensitive to these sensory experiences. It reminds me that even ordinary moments are full of richness and meaning when I pay attention and live intentionally. The season also changes how I organize my day. I find that mornings are best for energetic activities, afternoons are perfect for exploration or outdoor walks, and evenings are ideal for reflection and creative work. This rhythm feels natural and satisfying. For example, I might spend the morning tidying my workspace or completing tasks, enjoy a walk through a park in the afternoon, and then dedicate the evening to cooking, writing, or journaling. This balance between activity and stillness makes autumn feel both energizing and calming. Autumn also invites small adventures into everyday life. Even short walks feel like tiny explorations. I remember one morning when I decided to leave my usual route and explore a neighborhood I rarely visit. The streets were quiet, houses were decorated with pumpkins and autumn wreaths, and the sidewalks were covered in red, yellow, and orange leaves. I paused often, noticing little details, the way sunlight reflected off a puddle, the scent of damp earth, and the rustle of a squirrel in the trees. These small observations made the walk feel special, almost magical. Tactile experiences are another joy of autumn. Walking through piles of leaves, feeling the chill of morning air, or running my fingers along tree bark creates a connection to the environment that feels grounding. These moments help me slow down, breathe, and just exist in the space around me. There is a sense of presence in these interactions that makes the world feel richer and fuller. I appreciate them even more because they help me balance the fast pace of everyday life. Even ordinary errands feel enjoyable in autumn. Grocery shopping, for example, becomes a chance to explore seasonal foods and aromas. Walking through a market filled with apples, squash, pumpkins, and root vegetables inspires me to cook. One week, I picked up fresh pears and cranberries, planning to bake a simple tart with a hint of cinnamon. Preparing it later that afternoon felt mindful and calming. The smell of baked fruit, the warmth of the oven, and the cool autumn air outside turned the kitchen into a comforting space. Cooking in this season feels like a way to connect with life's rhythm. Autumn also encourages quiet reflection. I often spend early mornings by a window with a hot drink, simply observing the world waking up. The light is softer than in summer, casting gentle shadows and highlighting small details like dew on leaves or birds hopping across the ground. During these moments, my thoughts wander creatively. I draft story ideas, make notes for personal projects, or reflect on life. Autumn naturally encourages this combination of observation and introspection, making these moments both productive and peaceful. Outdoor activities are particularly enjoyable in autumn. Hiking, cycling, or even casual strolls feel more comfortable with moderate temperatures and cool breezes. I remember a weekend hike through a forest trail. Fallen leaves formed a soft carpet, and each step produced a satisfying crunch. The colors around me were stunning: fiery red maples, golden birches, and scattered orange leaves, creating a vibrant mosaic. I paused often, breathing deeply and taking in the earthy scents in the cool air. This was not only physically invigorating, but mentally refreshing, a reminder of how nature can restore balance in life. Autumn evenings carry a sense of comfort and intimacy. I enjoy dimly lit rooms, soft music, and warm beverages while reflecting on the day. One evening, I made a pot of spiced chai and sat by the window as rain began to fall. The sound of raindrops combined with the aroma of spices created an atmosphere that felt calming and inspiring. These moments make me appreciate life's subtler joys, the ability to pause, enjoy comfort, and connect with my thoughts or creative projects. Autumn naturally encourages this kind of mindful living. Traveling during autumn also feels different. Familiar places take on a new perspective. Landscapes are bathed in warm, golden light, and the beauty of nature feels heightened. I remember visiting a nearby lake surrounded by hills covered in colorful trees. The water reflected the vibrant leaves, creating an almost painterly effect. Walking along the shoreline, I noticed small details: a leaf floating gently on the water, ripples forming around a diving bird, and the scent of wet earth mixed with pine. Experiencing these moments in autumn feels deeper than in other seasons because the environment encourages attentiveness, and the weather allows comfort during long walks and exploration. Overall, autumn is a season that combines sensory richness, reflection, and inspiration. It encourages gratitude, mindfulness, and a slower, more deliberate pace of life. Whether through small walks, creative projects, cooking, or simply observing the world around me, I feel more connected to my surroundings and to myself. Autumn turns ordinary experiences into meaningful moments, making the season truly special and deeply fulfilling. Autumn has a special way of inspiring creativity. I often find that painting, sketching, and writing feel easier and more enjoyable during this season. One afternoon, I took my sketchbook to a small park and tried to capture the sunlight filtering through colorful leaves. The gentle rustle of the wind and the occasional bird call created a peaceful, natural soundtrack. Later, these sketches turned into short stories about characters noticing changes in their surroundings, reflecting on life, and finding inspiration in simple moments. Autumn seems to naturally provide creative ideas and encourages artistic exploration. Exercise and outdoor movement also feel particularly satisfying in autumn. Jogging, cycling, or stretching outside is invigorating because the air is crisp and the temperature is comfortable. I often take morning walks through a local park, paying attention to subtle changes, the leaves on the ground, migrating birds, and squirrels preparing for winter. Even light exercises like yoga outdoors or mindful walking feel more enjoyable because of the seasonal sights, sounds, and smells. Autumn provides a perfect balance of energy and calm, making physical activity both refreshing and restorative. The season brings a unique richness to everyday life through sensory experiences. I notice the smell of damp leaves, the crunch of foliage underfoot, the cool breeze on my skin, and the warm golden sunlight. These details often go unnoticed in other seasons, but in autumn, they feel grounding and satisfying. The veins of a leaf, sunlight reflecting on a wet street, or the way shadows move across a wall can capture my attention for moments at a time. Even simple routines like commuting or walking to a cafe feel different. I pause to observe sunlight streaming through branches, leaves scattered across the pavement, or children playing in a park. These small moments make ordinary days feel richer and more connected to the environment. Autumn also encourages personal projects and hobbies that I might neglect at other times. On a rainy afternoon, I set up a small space to experiment with watercolor painting. Inspired by the changing colors of the leaves, I spent hours layering different shades, watching how each stroke interacted with the paper and light. The process was relaxing, yet stimulating, and I found it easier to focus than in other seasons. Autumn seems to naturally combine calm, attention, and inspiration, making creative activities feel effortless and rewarding. Evenings in autumn invite quiet reflection and storytelling. I like to sit by a window with soft lighting, recording thoughts or jotting down ideas for projects. One particular evening, I watched the sky shift from deep blue to soft purple and pink, with stars slowly appearing. I reflected on past experiences, considered future goals, and even drafted a short story inspired by the colors and the atmosphere outside. The season provides a natural rhythm for introspection, creativity, and personal insight. Autumn also fosters a sense of community. Seasonal markets, harvest festivals, and local events create opportunities to connect with others. I remember attending a small fair where homemade preserves, crafts, and baked goods were sold. Walking through the stalls, tasting seasonal foods, and talking with vendors gave me a sense of belonging. Autumn seems to encourage meaningful social interaction, blending it naturally with everyday life. The season nurtures gratitude as well. Small joys feel more vivid: the smell of freshly baked bread, the warmth of a sweater against the cool air, or the sound of birds in the morning. I often write these observations in a journal, capturing moments, emotions, and inspiration. Autumn seems to heighten awareness of life's subtleties, turning gratitude into a natural part of daily experience. Autumn's changes also influence how I approach personal well-being. I focus on routines that support both mind and body: morning walks, meals with seasonal ingredients, mindfulness practices, and quiet reflection in the evenings. Cool air encourages activity, and shorter days naturally invite rest. The season creates a balance between energy and relaxation that feels effortless and comforting. Traveling during autumn also encourages noticing small details. Landscapes feel more alive because of seasonal color changes and soft, golden light. I often visit small towns or nature reserves to experience these changes. Walking along trails lined with golden trees, crossing wooden bridges over streams, or observing wildlife preparing for winter feels more vivid in autumn. There is no rush. The season encourages mindfulness, attention, and appreciation. Even familiar places feel transformed, offering novelty and inspiration. Autumn gently shifts daily routines, encouraging a more deliberate pace. Mornings, in particular, feel reflective. On one recent morning, I went for a walk before work. The streets were empty except for a few cyclists, and the ground was covered with fallen leaves in golden yellow, deep red, and muted orange. The air was crisp, carrying faint hints of wood smoke from chimneys and the sweet scent of ripening apples from nearby orchards. Each breath felt refreshing, invigorating, and grounding, setting the tone for the day ahead. Overall, autumn is a season that combines creativity, mindfulness, sensory richness, and personal well-being. It inspires reflection, encourages gratitude, and transforms everyday experiences into meaningful moments. Whether through outdoor activity, creative projects, simple observations, or connecting with others, autumn creates a sense of balance and depth that makes the season feel truly special. One of my favorite parts of autumn is noticing the small changes in nature. I love spending time in parks or quiet outdoor spaces, observing how the season transforms the environment. I remember one afternoon in a small park, watching sunlight filter through almost bare branches. The shadows danced on the forest floor, creating delicate patterns. A few birds hopped from branch to branch, sometimes catching insects or pecking at seeds. Leaves rustled gently in the breeze, and occasional gusts scattered them in little swirls. Watching these moments reminded me that life continues to change and adapt, offering a quiet lesson in resilience and presence. Autumn also encourages me to explore my surroundings. Even familiar streets and neighborhoods feel new during this season. One weekend, I wandered through a part of the city I rarely visit. The sidewalks were covered in colorful leaves, and small cafes had set up cozy outdoor seating with blankets and cups of hot chocolate. I noticed a tiny secondhand bookstore tucked between two buildings. The soft light inside, mixed with the faint smell of old books and polished wood, made me linger for nearly an hour. I left with a couple of novels, feeling enriched not only by the books themselves, but also by the sense of discovery the day had offered. Food and cooking feel especially satisfying in autumn. I enjoy exploring the flavors and textures of seasonal ingredients. One weekend, I made a vegetable and mushroom risotto using fresh produce from a nearby market. Chopping the vegetables, stirring the simmering pot, and tasting the flavors as they developed became a meditative activity. The warmth of the dish contrasted beautifully with the cool air outside, enhancing my sense of comfort and satisfaction. Cooking in autumn feels intimate and creative, connecting me to the natural rhythms of the season and the simple pleasures of life. Evenings in autumn have a special ambience. I like to create cozy, intentional spaces at home. Lighting candles or string lights, playing soft music, and wrapping myself in a warm blanket makes the space feel calm and comforting. One evening, I prepared a cup of herbal tea, opened my notebook, and wrote about my thoughts, experiences, and ideas for future projects. The coolness outside, compared with the warmth indoors, made journaling feel almost ceremonial. These quiet moments encourage mindfulness, reflection, and personal growth. Autumn is also perfect for photography and visual storytelling. I often carry a camera or phone during walks to capture fleeting moments. A leaf caught midair, sunlight reflecting on a puddle, or birds moving in perfect harmony, all become inspirations. One day, I spent nearly 2 hours photographing an old bridge surrounded by trees in full autumn color. The light, shadows, and vibrant foliage offered endless inspiration. Later, I used some of these images as prompts for short stories, weaving narratives around the colors, textures, and moods I had captured. Autumn seems to naturally heighten observation and creativity. Physical activity feels especially rewarding in autumn. Cool, fresh air makes jogging, cycling, or hiking energizing and comfortable. I often take morning runs along a river trail, noticing small changes in the environment, ripples in the water, squirrels carrying nuts, or leaves floating gently downstream. Even stretching or practicing yoga outdoors feels more enjoyable, as the crisp air stimulates the senses and the scenery encourages calm focus. Autumn seems to combine movement and mindfulness, making exercise both productive and restorative. The transition of seasons also changes how I perceive time. Days feel slower, and life seems to have a natural rhythm. I find myself walking more deliberately, pausing to notice details and savoring small experiences. On one clear morning, I watched how sunlight reflected off fallen leaves, creating tiny golden sparks on the ground. Shadows shifted slowly, and even a brief walk felt immersive and meaningful. Autumn encourages awareness and appreciation, making ordinary moments feel richer and more significant. Autumn's effect on wildlife is fascinating. Birds begin migrating, insects become less active, and animals prepare for the colder months. One afternoon, I spent time observing a small pond near my home. Ducks glided gracefully across the water, while a heron waited silently to catch its prey. Squirrels darted along tree trunks, gathering acorns with remarkable focus. Witnessing these behaviors reminded me of the adaptability of life and the importance of preparation, both in nature and in my own life. Seasonal traditions and community events add another layer of enjoyment to autumn. Markets, harvest festivals, and small local fairs provide chances to connect with others. Walking through stalls filled with handmade goods, tasting seasonal foods, and interacting with local vendors gives a sense of belonging. Autumn seems to naturally encourage meaningful social interactions, blending them effortlessly with daily life. Autumn has a special way of making everyday experiences feel richer and more meaningful. Visiting local farmers' markets, attending craft fairs, or simply enjoying the seasonal decorations in my neighborhood often creates moments of connection and inspiration. I remember walking through a small autumn festival where artisans displayed handmade items and families sampled seasonal treats. The air was filled with laughter, soft music, and the smell of roasted nuts. Experiencing events like this during autumn feels deeper and more memorable because the natural and social environment amplifies every sensation, from sights and smells to sounds and textures. The season also encourages quiet, introspective hobbies. On one rainy afternoon, I created a small writing nook by the window. The soft sound of rainfall, the dim natural light, and the warmth of a cup of tea made the space perfect for reflection and creative work. I spent several hours drafting short stories inspired by small observations, leaves drifting across sidewalks, sunlight reflecting in a puddle, or a stray cat perched on a fence. In autumn, these tiny details feel more vivid and meaningful, showing how the season naturally encourages mindfulness, creativity, and awareness. Travel during autumn feels especially immersive. Whether in nature or urban areas, landscapes are transformed by color and atmosphere. On a weekend trip to a forest reserve, I walked along trails blanketed with fallen leaves. Sunlight filtered through tall trees, and the crisp, cool air made every step feel refreshing. The moderate temperatures and beautiful scenery encouraged me to notice details I might otherwise overlook. Even short walks felt like a complete experience, not just a routine activity. Autumn turns exploration into a thoughtful, sensory-rich adventure. Even routine chores take on a different quality in autumn. Tasks like raking leaves, organizing closets, or preparing seasonal meals feel more intentional. I remember dedicating an afternoon to cleaning my apartment while listening to soft instrumental music. The combination of the tactile work, the rhythm of sweeping, and the warm sunlight streaming through the window made the chores feel almost meditative. In autumn, even mundane tasks become opportunities for mindfulness, presence, and appreciation. Observing sunlight and shadows in autumn is particularly rewarding. The lower angle of the sun creates longer, softer shadows and highlights textures in ways that other seasons rarely do. One late afternoon, I sat on a park bench watching golden light streak across fallen leaves and reflect off nearby windows. The interplay of light and shadow transformed an ordinary street into something visually striking. Moments like this remind me that simple, everyday environments can feel extraordinary when approached with attention and care. Autumn evenings often inspire storytelling and reflection. I frequently spend time writing, sketching, or journaling, using the season's atmosphere as a backdrop. On one evening, with a warm drink in hand, I watched the dimming sky and flickering streetlights. I began creating a story about a character discovering hidden paths in familiar surroundings, drawing inspiration from my own observations. The calm, reflective ambience of autumn naturally encourages this type of creativity, where imagination and environment blend seamlessly. Gratitude and mindfulness come naturally in autumn. Simple pleasures, a warm sweater, the smell of baking bread, or the sound of leaves rustling in the wind feel amplified. I often pause to breathe deeply, to notice these small joys and record them in my notebook. Autumn's sensory richness and reflective atmosphere encourage attentiveness, helping ordinary days feel more meaningful and fulfilling. Autumn also shapes daily life in unique ways. Morning walks, afternoon exploration, evening reflection, and weekend adventures form a rhythm that feels natural and harmonious. One weekend, I spent the morning wandering through a local park, the afternoon experimenting with a new recipe, and the evening journaling reflections. The flow of activities, combined with seasonal inspiration, creates a sense of balance between energy and rest that feels unique to autumn. Morning walks in quiet neighborhoods are one of my favorite experiences in this season. Streets are often empty, the light is soft, and the crisp air makes every breath feel invigorating. One morning, I took a route I had never tried before. The sidewalks were covered with a soft layer of fallen leaves in shades of yellow, orange, and deep red. I paused often, noticing the delicate details of each leaf, the gentle sway of branches, and the patterns created by sunlight through the trees. The walk felt meditative, as if the world itself had slowed down to let me observe it fully. Autumn encourages curiosity and exploration. I often find myself wandering into unfamiliar areas just to see how they look in this season. One afternoon, I walked through a district of old brick buildings and narrow alleys. Each corner offered new textures, colors, and stories waiting to be noticed. The combination of visual beauty, seasonal ambience, and quiet streets made the walk feel both peaceful and stimulating, showing how autumn turns ordinary experiences into something special. Small cafes during autumn create cozy spaces for people to gather. Many set up outdoor seating with blankets and lanterns, inviting visitors to relax and enjoy the season. The smell of freshly brewed coffee, mixed with the aroma of baked goods and fallen leaves drifting through the air, makes the experience warm and comforting. On one afternoon, I discovered a tiny gallery tucked between two buildings. Inside, local artists displayed paintings inspired by seasonal landscapes. I spent almost an hour examining each piece, noticing the details and the way the colors reflected the mood of autumn. This simple experience felt deeply satisfying and reminded me how the season encourages noticing beauty in overlooked places. Cooking in autumn is another source of pleasure. Seasonal ingredients feel rich, flavorful, and comforting. One weekend, I tried preparing a roasted root vegetable medley with carrots, parsnips, and sweet potatoes. The process was immersive, chopping vegetables, seasoning them with herbs, and feeling the warmth of the oven fill the kitchen. The aromas created a sense of homeliness, perfectly contrasting with the cool outdoor air. When the dish was ready, I savored it slowly, enjoying both the taste and the textures. Cooking in autumn feels connected to nature and the rhythms of the season, and each meal becomes a celebration of seasonal abundance. The visual beauty of autumn is remarkable. Trees transform into vibrant works of art, streets glow with golden sunlight, and even ordinary parks feel magical. I often spend time photographing these scenes, capturing details like dew shimmering on a leaf or colorful foliage reflected in a puddle. One afternoon, I walked along a riverside trail with my camera. The water mirrored the fiery colors of surrounding trees, while gentle ripples created ever-changing patterns. I spent hours observing and photographing these small moments, later using them as inspiration for sketches and short stories. Autumn seems to provide endless opportunities for creativity when approached with attention and curiosity. Physical activity is especially refreshing during this season. Morning jogs or evening walks feel invigorating because of the crisp air and moderate temperatures. I maintain a routine of running along a park trail lined with oak and maple trees. The crunch of leaves beneath my feet, the cool breeze brushing my skin, and the scent of damp earth create a multi-sensory experience that energizes both body and mind. Sometimes I take a detour to a quiet riverbank, practicing light stretches while listening to birdsong and watching leaves drift in the water. Autumn naturally encourages movement, reflection, and presence, making exercise both enjoyable and restorative. Autumn evenings carry a sense of calm and introspection. I like to create spaces at home that enhance comfort and reflection. Soft lighting, a warm drink, and gentle music provide the perfect backdrop for journaling, sketching, or creative work. One evening, I prepared a cup of chai and watched the changing sky through my window. As twilight approached, streetlights reflected off puddles and cast long shadows across sidewalks. I wrote about the day, small observations, and ideas for personal projects. These simple rituals feel amplified in autumn, encouraging mindfulness, gratitude, and creativity. Seasonal events and social interactions add another layer to autumn's charm. Visiting local harvest markets, craft fairs, and small festivals creates moments of connection and enjoyment. I remember wandering through a market where artisans sold handmade candles, preserves, and knitted scarves. Families strolled along the aisles, sampling seasonal treats and enjoying the crisp air. Even brief encounters, like chatting with a vendor about their crafts or tasting a new flavor, felt more memorable when paired with the atmosphere of the season. Autumn seems to naturally encourage meaningful social connections and shared experiences. Travel experiences in autumn are particularly vivid. Natural landscapes appear richer due to warm tones, soft sunlight, and fewer crowds. I recall a trip to a mountain village where I hiked along trails lined with golden birches and red maples. A small lake reflected the colorful trees perfectly, creating a mirror image that was mesmerizing. I spent hours walking slowly, observing birds, squirrels, and plants preparing for winter. The calm, quiet environment encouraged deep presence, making me feel part of the surroundings rather than just passing through them. Autumn travel inspires attentiveness, appreciation, and connection with nature. Autumn also enhances creativity and thinking. The combination of changing colors, cool air, and gentle light encourages new ideas and reflections. Observing, exploring, and noticing the season's details, from fallen leaves to glowing sunsets, naturally inspires writing, sketching, and other creative projects. Whether it's a simple walk through the park, a visit to a local gallery, or cooking a seasonal meal, autumn provides countless moments that spark inspiration, mindfulness, and joy. Autumn is a season that naturally inspires creativity. I often find myself drawn to writing, drawing, or experimenting with small projects. One rainy afternoon, I set up a cozy corner by a window with paper, pens, and paints. I spent hours sketching fallen leaves, watching patterns of light, and experimenting with textures. Later, I turned these sketches into stories about characters discovering small joys and hidden beauty in everyday life. Autumn encourages this combination of observation and creativity, making it easier to notice subtle details and turn them into meaningful expressions. Even everyday tasks feel richer in autumn. Sweeping fallen leaves, organizing closets, or preparing seasonal meals can become mindful and purposeful activities. One afternoon, I tidied my workspace while listening to soft instrumental music. Every motion, the sweep of the broom, arranging books, organizing papers, felt deliberate and satisfying. The contrast between the cool air outside and the warm indoor environment amplified the sense of comfort. Autumn provides a natural framework for turning ordinary tasks into opportunities for awareness and presence. Autumn also changes how I perceive time. The shortening days and changing light encourage reflection and intentionality. I often find myself walking slower, pausing to observe details and savoring moments that might otherwise be overlooked. On a clear morning, I watched sunlight filter through golden leaves, casting delicate patterns on the ground. The moment felt prolonged, almost as if the season itself encouraged me to linger and appreciate life's small details. This heightened awareness contributes to a sense of calm and fulfillment. Wildlife behavior in autumn is fascinating. Birds migrate, insects slow down, and animals prepare for winter. Observing these patterns offers quiet lessons in adaptability and resilience. At a small park pond, I watched ducks glide across the water while a heron waited silently for prey. Squirrels darted along branches, gathering acorns with precision. Watching these small routines reminded me of the importance of planning and adapting in both nature and life. Gratitude and mindfulness come naturally in autumn. The textures, scents, and colors of the season draw attention to life's simple pleasures. A warm sweater, the scent of baked goods, the rustle of leaves, or the soft light of sunset all feel amplified. I often write these observations in a journal, noting reflections, sensations, and inspirations. Autumn seems to make this awareness intuitive and rewarding, fostering presence and fulfillment. Routines in autumn often follow a satisfying natural rhythm. Mornings are for energizing walks or exercise, afternoons for exploration or creative work, and evenings for reflection, journaling, or cooking. One weekend, I structured my day around this rhythm: a morning hike, an afternoon trying a new recipe, and an evening writing about my experiences. This sequence created a sense of harmony unique to autumn, as if the season itself guided the day's flow. Outdoor observations are particularly rewarding. I spend hours watching leaves move, sunlight filter through branches, and small animals go about their tasks. One afternoon, sparrows fluttered among branches while a gentle breeze scattered leaves to the ground. Observing these small motions brought calm and connectedness. Autumn encourages prolonged attention to detail, heightening awareness of both nature and the rhythms of daily life. Seasonal weather also adds to the experience. Cool mornings, occasional rain, and crisp air enhance both indoor and outdoor activities. After a gentle morning rain, I walked through streets glistening with moisture. Leaves reflected soft light, the air smelled fresh and earthy, and the muted sounds of water dripping from rooftops created a tranquil soundtrack. Moments like these turn simple experiences into sensory-rich, memorable occasions. Autumn is a season that encourages mindfulness, creativity, and connection, both with the environment and with ourselves. Quiet walks, observing nature, experimenting with seasonal recipes, or enjoying a warm drink at home remind us to slow down and appreciate the little things. The season balances activity and stillness, inviting us to explore new places, nurture creativity, and reflect on life. Even small moments, like watching leaves drift in the wind, feeling the crisp air, or noticing sunlight on a puddle, can bring immense joy when approached with attention and appreciation. For me, autumn is more than just a season. It is a feeling, a rhythm, and a mindset that enriches life in countless ways. Whether taking a quiet walk, exploring new paths, cooking a seasonal meal, or simply sitting with a warm drink, autumn encourages presence, mindfulness, and wonder. By noticing the small joys in life, exploring surroundings attentively, and embracing the season's rhythm, we can experience beauty and meaning in simplicity, observation, and mindful engagement with the world. Autumn reminds us that life's richness is often found in small, quiet moments. May your days this season be filled with warmth, inspiration, and the gentle joys that autumn so generously offers.